Tuesday morning, everyone. Welcome back. You're watching the Kaiser Report. I'm John. I'm here with Kaiser to talk to you today about a few things that are happening around our country. We were shut down a little yesterday due to some equipment problems, but we're back here and on the air today, and hopefully we'll get it all straightened out before too long and be back to normal. Speaking of being back to normal, this country is making a rapid ascent into getting back to the way things used to be. The illegals are being deported, much to the chagrin of mainstream media, who has their hair on fire one more time over the fact that their criminals are being rounded up. And a lot of the naysayers that are on the Democratic side of things feel that it's an insult to these people. Colombia didn't want to take the plane load back, and the threat came out from Donald Trump that if they didn't receive them back into their own jurisdiction, that there was going to be some tariff laid on to goods that come in and visas to come into this country from Colombia citizens. Well, that lit up AOC and Ilhan Omar and a few of those other people that are sitting in our Congress, and one would have to ask themselves, why are they sitting in that Congress? Because they have never performed in any way, shape, or form to better this country or better the states that's elected them and sent them to Congress to do the will of the people. And we know what a checkered past that Ilhan Omar has, but yet she's out hollering about all kinds of things and about how that she's been a citizen here for 30 years and made it to Congress. Well, I'll let you look at that a little bit later. But right now, the AOC has really, once again, made her expertise in things like coffee understood. And, of course, we want to make everybody in her jurisdiction fear the Donald Trump. This is what they're all on about now. And this is why Mitch McConnell, in his infinite wisdom, has decided to throw a stumbling block in the way. They did it with Hegseth, and they did it intentionally to where J.D. Vance had to come in as a tie-breaking vote. And this will be served by them back up to us during the 4-year administration that we're stepping into now, looking for solutions, not more problems. But this Senate is not happy about some of the picks, and they're going to have their way. I guess more than likely the people that are spreading fear and hatred one more time through mainstream media and through elected officials are dead set against having the world watch us go back to normal here and not continue with the 4 years of inaction and things of that nature that took place during the Biden-Harris administration, which we all know now there was less than anything done by Harris on the border. And now Homan is out there trying to clean it up while these people get on to their favorite show like The View and run everything down to make you afraid that you made the wrong choice. What they forget is what happened on November 5th. Because on November 5th, we the people decided to tell these idiots that are sitting there proponing all kinds of nonsense to take place. And they have to understand what the people have voted for and have asked to happen in this country, and they're still fighting against it, like that it never happened. Why that is, I don't know. But there was a news conference that the president was giving and opened up for questions the other day, and Jim Acosta had to be literally forced to give up the microphone because he was trying to lay out a program of lies one more time with CNN. And I guess he's not happy that they moved his time slot. And now I believe that he is going to be gone from CNN after his latest performance. We've watched this guy over the years make a jackass out of himself, and he can't help it. And then he gets a lie and then tries to get whoever is at the podium to go along with it. And I've got a film on that I'll show you here in a bit too. So we're going to get a little bit warmer here. It's been very cold. J.D. Vance visited the region yesterday, landed here in the Tri-Cities at the Tri-City Airport, and motored up to Damascus, Virginia. And if you remember during the Hurricane Helene, that Damascus was fairly well wiped out, along with, and as equally as bad as some places in western North Carolina. So it was good to see him there. He spoke to people. He took questions and answers. And I believe that we have a very, very good and strong and brilliant Vice President of the United States today. And I'm hoping and praying that their ideas will be implemented without too much more fooling with by the Senate and the House, by the morons in some cases that sit there. But that's pretty much it. It's fear. They want you to be afraid. Do not be afraid. Trust in the Lord and never trust in a politician. That is the best advice I can give anyone, and I hope you're all going along with that, because on November 5th, you showed up in droves to tell them of your displeasure. But what happened? They won't accept it. They won't accept the fact that they are being put out. You look at things like Fauci losing his limousine and his Secret Service protection. This is the highest paid man in the land when he was in power. Not to mention the multiple dollars that were garnered through Moderna and other places across this world. Fauci can well afford to pay for his own security. Remember back when RFK Jr. was running for president, and Biden and that bunch refused to give him any Secret Service protection, but yet Fauci's running around with a government-paid limousine and government-paid Secret Service protection because he's afraid somebody's going to latch on to what he did and make him pay for it. Well, I believe the decision made by Trump there was a good one. Take a look.
Dr. Fauci.
We learned today that Dr. Anthony Fauci, the latest former federal official to, go up against Trump, let's say, a fierce critic, gets his security detail revoked. And not the first one. Former Secretary of State Mike Pompeo got his security detail pulled as well. I mean, is this the beginning of a revenge tour?
Look, Trump basically said, he took a question on this. He basically said, just because you worked in the government and faced threats doesn't mean the government's going to pay for you to have security forever. He basically said that Fauci and others can hire their own private security if they want.
Security detail for Anthony Fauci was terminated last night, sir. Do you have a comment?
No, I think, when you work for government, at some point your security detail comes off. And, you can't have them forever. So I think it's very standard. If it would be for somebody else, you wouldn't be asking the question. The question is very fair. But, you work for government. We took some off, other people too. But you can't have a security detail for the rest of your life because you work for government.
Think about that.
Would you feel partially responsible if something would have happened to, say, Dr. Fauci or John Bolton?
No. They all made a lot of money. They can hire their own security, too.
So if they get up and criticize science, nobody's going to know what they're talking about. But if they get up and really aim their bullets at Tony Fauci, well, people could recognize there's a person there, there's a face, there's a voice you can recognize, you see him on television. So it's easy to criticize, but they're really criticizing science because I represent science.
Not anymore.
Fauci and Pompeo, any of these guys that are running around right now with taxpayer-paid protection, limousines, and air travel needs to come to a screeching halt until this budget is balanced and we're back on track. It's a shame what we have put up with. And what we got out of getting rid of some of the dead wood that exist, bureaucrats that do nothing to serve us, the public, are being looked at now as far as replacement or transfers to jobs for lesser money and maybe a job that they can handle. Mainstream media is all upset about DEI going away from the military and, what are we going to do? Well, we're going to have a military one more time, as we used to have, that is strong and capable and a deterrent to keep us out of wars, not get into them. And that said, I'm sure that you all feel that way. No one wants their sons and daughters sent to slaughter in a foreign land that we have no business being involved in. I believe that there's underway with this administration to not only cease fire around the world, but get a handle on what's going on in Ukraine and so on and so on. He's talking to people. We need to stop picking on Donald Trump, finding out what the truth of the matters are, and then let them make the decisions needed to fix the problem that exists while they're still in office to do that. He has done so much in 5 days. In 5 days of working as President of the United States since the inauguration, he has accomplished more than Biden, Harris have accomplished in all 4 years, except he didn't start any new wars or aid and abet in any new wars. So with that, take a look at this.
And we are going to make America great again.
My friends, my colleagues, ladies and gentlemen, I am so excited to introduce to you tonight the 45th and the 47th President of the United States, Donald J. Trump. Let's hear it.
And I'm proud to be an American.
This is somebody that has the gene. I'll tell you, she's great, and she's done a fantastic job. So she was so good with the campaign. I said, let's let her do the campaign, and it was flawless. And again, I said before, we had her win a lot of votes because it's crooked as hell. And I hope you can go to voter ID and same-day voting and paper ballots and all of those things, because ultimately we'll never lose a race if you do that. I'm telling you, you'll never lose a race. And I hope you can get that. And that's said to the governors mostly, but this, you people have a lot of power over it. But Susie ran the race, and we did phenomenally, and then we just made her the chief of staff, and she's doing great. They say it was the greatest week, opening week, in presidential history, and I think, it couldn't be a hell of a lot better. Even CNN is saying, this guy is amazing. I couldn't believe it. I said, did CNN really say that? Because nobody watches, so nobody was able to confirm it. But it was pretty amazing. Oh, the camera just went off. It's always tough. Usually you get them by surprise.
I'm sorry, but your campaign had an ad showing migrants climbing over walls and so on.
Well, that's true.
But
they weren't actors.
They're not going to be doing that.
They weren't actors. Well, no, it's true. Do you think they were actors? They weren't actors. They didn't come from Hollywood. Right. These were people. This was an actual, it happened a few days ago. And
they're hundreds of miles away, though. They're hundreds and hundreds of miles away. That's not an invasion.
Honestly, I think you should let me run the country. You run CNN.
All right.
And if you did it well, your ratings would be much better.
If I may ask one other question, Mr. President. If I may ask one other question, are you worried?
That's enough. That's enough.
Mr. President, I was going to ask one of the other folks.
That's enough.
Pardon me, ma'am. Mr. President.
That's enough.
Mr. President, I had one other question, if I may ask, on the Russia investigation. Are you concerned that you may have?
I'm not concerned about anything with the Russian investigation because it's a hoax. That's enough. Put down the mic.
Mr. President, are you worried about indictments coming down in this investigation?
Mr. President.
I'll tell you what, CNN should be ashamed of itself having you working for them.
Not anymore.
I'm hoping and praying that these people find a monicum of common sense in their jobs and stop the idiocy. Coffee is not expressly from Colombia, AOC. Brazil is a major supplier of coffee around the world, and it happens to be a good coffee. So let's not panic people over the price of their cup of coffee. Because between you and me, AOC, somebody would pay 15 cents more for a cup of coffee to keep their wife or husband or grandmother or child safe from a loose cannon running around as an illegal alien, murdering, maiming, and raping people. So get off the price of coffee, AOC, and do the damn job you were elected and sent into that Congress to do. And as far as your squad friends, they need to wise up because they're no longer going to wield power like they did in the last 4 years. So, got one more thing for you to look at here, and then we're going to probably say goodbye. And so hold on 1 second. We'll run this for you.
Bad boys, what you gonna do? What you gonna do?
Is this what we will see every single day, ending in what the president has promised is millions and millions being deported?
Yes, but you're going to see the numbers steadily increase, the number of arrests nationwide as we open up the aperture.
The estimates of perhaps those who have been convicted or arrested in the past, 700,000 to over 1 million. So after you do that, then you go after everybody who is there illegally.
If you're in the country illegally, you're on the table.
But the point here is that it's meant to be a PR campaign. So it's meant to scare people. Mm-hmm. That's what they're doing right now. Mm-hmm. And when you look at these flights where they are deporting people back to their origin nation, we don't know who they are. And that's where I'd like to see more transparency. If indeed, right now, everyone on these flights is a violent criminal, I think we can all agree everyone thinks they should leave the country. We were saying that this morning. It's common sense. But what we're not getting is a breakdown of who these people are. On the first day of Trump's presidency, DHS, there was a press release, and they said that they had nabbed more than 300 illegal migrant criminals, including one attempted murder and one child molester. But what about the other 298? What was their crime? And they said that they had nabbed more than 300 illegal migrant criminals, including one attempted murder and one child molester. But what about the other 298? What was their crime?
As they say, as my grandkids say, Google it.
What was their crime?
We're a nation that says if you want to flee and you're fleeing oppression, you should come.
Sometimes you think that it's Hollywood making these things up because it's almost unbelievable, especially when you look at what's taken place in the LA fires and some of the insurgencies that we've had at the border of people that were gang members that ended up, killing people, radicalizing our own here in some cases. They do go after a mind that is befuddled, and they will indoctrinate them. We don't need people in this country indoctrinating our citizens or our children. There's enough of that being done by the lousy professors in these institutions that they are indoctrinating with ideas that have no business being in a classroom. But then again, you look at who is providing this information to your children. It's the same people that carry signs as hippies back in the 60s when everyone was all upset about the Vietnam War and then decided that they didn't like the government being run the way it was. And some of them were jailed, some of them were arrested, but they're now your professors in your college, and they haven't gotten any more common sense than they had back then. And they're imparting their broken dreams and hatred into our children. And that needs to be looked at and stopped, because we're paying a lot of money to universities that are allowing professors with the wrong ideas to indoctrinate your children. So hopefully, with the new education director coming in, when confirmed, we'll be taking a look at these things, and maybe we can get back to producing doctors, lawyers, engineers, and people that work with their hands with the knowledge to do it because they have been taught the correct way to do it, not indoctrinated into somebody's ideology that didn't work. We watched it for 4 years, and we have spoken in November to say enough is enough. And with that, I'm going to wish you a happy rest of the Tuesday. We'll be back here to talk to you tomorrow on the Kaiser Report, and we wish you all a wonderful day. So remember, stay safe, stay strong, and stay tuned to the Kaiser Report for more commentary and a few laughs along the way, because we're going to have a lot more memes coming up, because it is almost comical on how our members of Congress and the Senate will handle themselves from time to time. God bless. See you tomorrow. Bye now.